Your story might be the very thing someone needs to hear in order to keep going. Hi, I'm Shara, and you're listening to Life Stories. Hi friends, it's been a minute since I have been on here. I've been busy. It's been a busy couple of weeks. I hope you had a great Easter. We have celebrated Easter the last 3 years, including this year, here at our home, and I love being able to do that. This year we did a crawfish boil. We are from Southeast Texas, or I'm from Southeast Texas, and crawfish is just a thing that we love, and we had tables out in the front yard, and the weather was absolutely perfect, and, all of my husband's family was here. It was great. My kids were here, my grandkids were here. It was great. We had a wonderful time. We went to our sunrise service. We're attending a new church now, and they had a sunrise service, and we went to that, and it was just a wonderful day. I hope you were able to celebrate Easter well and enjoyed your day. So a couple of weeks ago, I went to a conference, and I wanted to share a few things that I learned from that conference. So I mentioned before, conference that I went to, I guess it was last month, and I met a friend who is the sister of a woman that I've known for a long time. Her name is Lisa, and Lisa and I met for coffee after that conference, and she was a sponsor of this conference a couple weeks ago and offered me a ticket to this place. It was called Behind Her Brand, and it was for women entrepreneurs. Now, I don't have a business, but I want to grow my podcast. There are a lot of ideas that I have, and there are things that I want to do. And she saw that in me, and she very kindly offered to give me a ticket to go. And I'm so thankful that I did. I'm so thankful to her for that. It was so fabulous, not just for me, but for all of the women there. For one thing, it was the first conference that this woman has put on. So it was small. It was maybe 50 to 60 women, maybe that many. So it wasn't this huge, hundreds of people conference, but it was wonderful that it was so small. And we all joked about how they're not going to be that small anymore because everybody there is going to recommend it to other people, and they're always going to be huge from now on. So we all loved the fact that we were able to attend that small conference, her very first one. I was thinking we could do like a reunion from the very first conference sometime, because I told Lisa before I left, I said, I feel like everybody here is going to look back at this weekend and see it was like a turning point or a catalyst in everybody's business or ministry or whatever it is they were doing, nonprofit. I just feel like it was a moment of where our growth was going to be accelerated, like every person there. And I was excited to go. I was very thankful to go, but I just wondered how much I would get from it, because I don't have a business, and I knew it was for entrepreneurs. But man, did I learn a lot. I learned so much. And it took me a little while to process everything, because when you go to something like that and it's like information overload. And I don't know about you, maybe you can all, sort through all of it quickly, but it takes me a minute to think and remember and look back at my notes. And I got a lot of business cards, and I've been looking up people's businesses and seeing what I can do to help. And anyway, it was a great conference, and I cannot wait to go to the next one. I'm hoping she will do it here every year, because it was just so fabulous. One of the first things that was so awesome about this conference, and this can happen anywhere, it doesn't have to be at a conference, but I loved it when I was able to go, was connection. If you've listened for a while, that's my word for the year, is connection, and it's very important to me this year. And the cool thing about this place was, it wasn't that connection just happened, that we just happened to all be in the same room and we just happened to meet new people. She made it a point to make us connect with one another. Now, I've said before, I am not shy when I meet country music stars. I am very bold, and I do not have a problem going up to anybody to ask for a picture or to meet them. But when I met these women, and I felt like everybody was way more successful than I was, and they knew what they were doing, and I did not, and what could I possibly talk about with them? And so having to go make connections with other people was a little intimidating to me, but I did it. I met some really cool women and with some great businesses. And that was very cool to me because, we were able to connect. I met so many people that told me they would be on my podcast. They wanted to be on the podcast, or they asked about it, or, they would listen to it and recommend it to other people. That was awesome. And I got to learn about a lot of different businesses that these women had. And so connection was a very big deal. And you can do that anywhere. You can make connections anywhere. And the other thing that someone talked about concerning connection that I thought was so cool was when you connect with somebody, it's not necessarily just about, wanting them to help you with your business. It's not about, if you're selling something, it's not about them just buying something you're selling. When we connect with other people, one of the things we should ask is how we can serve them. How can I help you? How can I help you in your business? How can I help you in your ministry? How can I help you with your nonprofit? What can I do? It's not always about spending money either. A lot of times it's like about spending time with somebody, having a cup of coffee, listening to them, or, offering to help with whatever you can. My new friend Michelle that I met at the conference, who is actually going to be on my podcast this week, she came up to me at one point. We were chatting, and she said, she has a business, and she has written 2 books, and she was one of the sponsors and was a speaker. And, I felt like she was so successful and this, incredible businesswoman. And she came up to me and we were talking, and she said, okay, how can I serve you? What can I do for you? And it totally caught me off guard. Not because I thought it was weird. I was honored. It was very sweet of her, but it just surprised me because she wasn't asking for anything for her. She was asking how she could help me, which was so very kind of her. And I need to be more like that, not even necessarily with a business or with my podcast or anything else. It's not always about me. We need to have our eyes open sometimes to other people. How can we help that other person? And the lady that spoke, that talked about how we need to offer to serve others, reminded us that it's going to come back to us. Anytime you give, it's going to be given back to you. It may not be in that moment. It may be later down the road. But it's always better to give than to receive. It's always better to want to help rather than waiting for somebody to give something to you. The third thing that I learned that is so important in life, it's not even just about business, is not to compare my success to anybody else's. I mean, we never should be comparing ourselves to anyone else's, especially on social media. I know you hear that all the time, but it's the truth. You see everybody's perfect little reels of their beautiful life, and you don't see the behind the scenes. You don't see any struggles that they have or what it took to get the perfect picture that they got. We should never compare ourselves, but even in our success, we can't compare that to somebody else's. Nobody's walking the road that you're walking, and you're not walking the road of anybody else. And so we just have to keep our eyes focused on what's ahead of us, where we want to go, and stay on the course. Don't look to your left. Don't look to your right. Do what you need to do. I need to do what I need to do to make myself the best that I can be. There's so many little nuggets of knowledge that I learned and I've written down all over my notes. But those are the 3 most important things. And, I learned a lot at my table. We would have a speaker, and then we would discuss things at our table. And the ladies at my table were so helpful in encouraging me and giving me advice and suggestions. And so I'm very excited to have implemented some of those things very soon. In fact, this week, I'm going to be doing some pretty cool things, and I'm excited to share with you, hopefully in the next couple of weeks. So I hope I've encouraged you a little bit. If you've got a business or a ministry or a nonprofit or a dream or whatever it is, I hope that I've given you a little bit of encouragement to step out and stay on the course, make those connections, meet those people, find people who have the same goal that you do, and sit down and brainstorm together, share a cup of coffee, get on the phone, get on FaceTime, whatever it is. Encourage one another because we need each other. Thanks for listening. I hope you have a great day.